Listen, fade out. Where's Draven?
No, they're switching it up a little here.
yet.
They're going to go banana dog.
Oh.
There. Don't worry, bro. They still got you. All right, so that objective control that has just been given to NK Inc. pretty much, by default with that Nasus, not going to be on the table this time. Also, they still banned out the Malphite. So we've seen him banned out every single game here. I'm really curious to see what would happen if they had actually let that one through one of these games, but it's not going to happen this one. Maybe we'll go to a Game 5 and see it there.
The Lux getting banned out. No team getting that this time again. It has been used once per side. And we do, see the Elise coming out for a final ban. Renekateki Tekiton for Chris.
They're tired of those Chris acrobatics with the rappel escapes, and so he does not hesitate to go with second choice, though. Taking that Renekton lane bully everyone talks about. You have to be this tall to enter top lane, and that is Renekton. If you are any shorter, he's going to crush you. And they want to take that one for Chris, as well as denying it from Mega Zero.
And Mega is saying, you want Riven. Actually, no, he's not. They're just actually maybe pulling out the Ezreal. They obviously, Velocity didn't take that game last time, but they were a hair away from taking it, and the Ezreal created a lot of problems for MRN.
And we saw, Don't Mash Me's opinion on it. He didn't even play that Ezreal to the fullest of his potential. So there's a lot of power to unlock when you do play Ezreal, and we'll have to see if Ni and Tanso can show him how it's done.
Possibly. They gotta show him.
He's got a Sona that's going to be backing him up too.
That's true.
And we've seen the Sona heals are so impressive. They're on par with those Soraka heals, who is considered the best healer in the entire game. Plus, she has that game-making or breaking crescendo.
And this is the first time, actually, we're going to obviously have him in a safe lane, like you said, with Sona, but it's not a super carry position for Ni and Tanso. This is more a utility position, so that's different.
Very good point, because he has really been the one to have to put the entire team on his back and just carry them through, pulling out the wins, literally single-handedly winning them the game last game, where he was the one to blow up that Nexus by himself. Having Ezreal is going to give him two things. You don't have that hyper end game carry stats, but you do have the escapes built in, so he won't have to rely on his team quite as much for all the peels, and he can really take care of himself and make solo plays.
We'll have to see what they decide to do. Claky D actually bringing out the Zac if we do see it in that lane, but then again, that could be Megas.
It could be Megas. Zac is very versatile. Mega's brother, actually, Tree Eskimo, is a huge fan of Zac top lane, so maybe he's had a little, brother time where he's trained with him with that one up there. We have seen Zac be very effective coming from the jungle, though, just because when you're always in the fog of war and you can set up those elastic slingshots from far away, it has to keep every lane guessing, because those ganks can really come out at you at any time.
Wow, and they're still putting focus onto it. They say, you take my Ez, I'll take your Trist. Let's play that game. Please select Kennen. Thank you very much. And we'll be moving on. So looking for the last pick here from MRN to get locked in, like I said, possibly game point in our second summer promotion match of the day.
So Vile Rose again gets his Rumble. He's pretty happy with that one. And they have the late game Tristana that we talked about so much. Velocity had actually, baited MRN into picking that one time so they could deny the farm to Trist early and just completely shut that out. Maybe MRN are going to go with a similar situation here and try to punish Maple Street's laning phase, because that's really where you want to go at this Velocity team. They're gonna just scale up really quickly. So if you can get them down early, then it will be a lot easier for this MRN double AP AoE strategy to work out.
And they have set themselves up to somewhat win that early lane in the bottom with the poke. They have the Sona, they have the Ezreal. Kennen versus Renekton. Renekton's probably, I love Kennen, and that's my hated matchup because he'll just build health and it feels like you do no damage, but it's Mega Zero, and I am super excited to see how he plays this, because I know he wants the 1v1, and I probably want it even more. Waited and ready, see him spread out. He prepares himself. We are on to the Rift. Velocity versus MRN in your second summer promotion match of the day. Ringington Third and Kobe bringing you this one, and what possibly could be MRN's entry, their birth into the LCS with the win of this match.
So this time around, it is going to be the Team MRN here with the team fighting potential of the very heavy AP AoE. So a rushed bulwark would not be a terrible thing for Team Velocity. The only question is, where will that come from? Because, like we said before, Jungle Shens actually need to be a little bit more selfish with their tanky items, hoping to get, you know, like a giant spell or something. If he does try and rush that Aegis of the Legion and go team-oriented, then he might be a little weak in the 1v1s.
So looks like they're going to ward the top side here, which may mean they get the swap in so they can have the control early on the top side of that jungle. But it looks like we do see the AD carry and support moving towards that bottom. So Maple Street and Evaniscus look to be heading to their lane, possibly do golems to start off. We'll see where Heartbeat and Niantanzo start to hover. Maybe mid.
Yeah, some defensive wards. The whole team here stacking up around the mid. It looks like, you know, the way Heartbeat and Niantanzo are posturing, they want this lane for themselves.
They ran it against Rumble last time.
And they are going to send up Mega Zero to top. He'll hopefully be shouting at the top of his lungs the challenge to Chris to get his 1v1, and it looks like Chris will oblige.
Exciting. Here we go. Getting into the match, 2-1 in favor of MRN. Ladies and gentlemen, North American teams trying to get into the League of Legends Championship Series Summer Split. We have already had Complexity knocked out. They were relegated from the tournament. The move on from Quantic. They will be a team in the Summer LCS Split. And now we're looking to see if Velocity eSports can take that away from MRN. They're going to start off pretty orthodox in the jungle here. It looks like Echo is going to be grabbing up this blue.
Yeah, Echo grabbing up the blue for the solo Karthus on the bottom. He's taking a lot of damage, so he's going to have to heal up before Maple Street gets an eye on him, because Maple Street is bloodthirsty. He will go very deep, very early here, and they also have hooks available to them in that bottom lane. So it could be a dangerous situation, but some sneaky maneuvers also coming from MRN. Claky D uses the elastic slingshot to jump over Baron Wall and come for an invade here on the blue side where there's nothing left.
Yeah, does not find much, but he may be able to get a gank here. That red buff still freshly on him. Chris taking some damage. They have one proc on. He's probably waiting to get that second one on from Kennen. And you can see if Kennen gets that up, Chris will start to back off. But they dive in now. He flashes it completely. I don't think he took Slice, maybe? And he just wanted out.
So they got the flash out of him. Very, very quick flash there from Chris. Not hesitating. Doesn't want to get hit with that one. And even though Chris started with those wolves sharing experience and got the early level 2, he's actually, Mega Zero is actually the one in control of this lane now.
And you can see Mega building out with the Doran's Blade to start in that top lane first, so whatever damage he takes is going to stick to that armor and potions on Chris.
Mega gonna heal up a little bit, you know, but he does have some sustain from that passive of the Doran's Blade, which works out so well. Some people, you know, will even rune early AD for Kennen and then build AP later. So, you know, just going with that Doran's Blade and having 28 AP starting makes me think he's going to be building more AP heavy after the laning phase.
This is really one of the more lax games that we've had, considering invasions, considering what's on the line. These teams are taking it into consideration, if I haven't said that yet. And at 4 minutes here, it's really just pushing the lane slowly. Nobody is trying to overextend themselves.
So the idea behind the blue elixir on Rumble, by the way, which Balrose has gone back to a second time, is that in the 2v1 situation, he's just desperately trying to wave clear, and he needs the extra damage there on that flame spitter. And cooldown reduction is so important on Rumble, because if you spam your abilities, you can get that overheat up and do extra 50% here as Chris goes aggro.
That is the damage I'm talking about, right? He just gets so tanky as he gets leveled up, now level 4 for Mega Zero, but it's going to be a tough lane for him already.
21 CS, he's up a little bit here and has the wave pushing at his turret. That causes him to pause, but it could be very dangerous as NK has snuck into this top bush unawares, and Chris and him both have flash up, so if they chain their CCs perfectly, they can burst Mega down even inside of the turret.
Yeah, there's no way Mega would be able to get out of this one. Maybe forcing a flash and hitting the E, he'd be able to pass through. But like you said, the flash stun, the crowd control is up. Chris is already showing that he wants to go past the turret. Slice and dice hits, and the lightning rush gets him safely out.
This could be an answer for you know, an early turret here. They're making a play, just going to keep the jungle up here as long as possible. They would have to stay for another wave to be able to make this one happen, but they're not auto-attacking the turret. They're still just clearing minions, and they don't want to take that one down first.
Well, they are auto-attacking that turret in middle. Neontanzo takes a turret shot there, and even in the situation of being 2v1'd in mid lane, you said Rumble is that one to pick up the double kill. He almost could have there.
Very dangerous, especially with the early Elixir of Brilliance giving him the extra damage too. Echo, meanwhile, down bottom, also in a 1 vs 2 situation, similar to Vile Rose, did not start with a blue Elixir, but he's doing just fine for himself. Carpet's pretty good at CSing if you get a little practice with those layways.
The Velocity actually looking to take out Clicky D. They really just go for his Wraiths, though. Chris actually invaded there with NK Inc. for a second. You see as he back now, Chris going to lane, picked himself up Boots, a ward, and his Dorans to pretty much the same thing except for the ward on Mega Zero's side.
Yeah, and Mega Zero slightly ahead in that lead, not only just because of Fuses, but also because he didn't start with potions, so he didn't spend that extra gold that was consumed during the laning phase.
Right.
And Chris now just fainting. They're going to exchange a few blows here. And NK visits, he shows up in the mid lane, so that means Mega Zero can continue to play aggressive up there without fear of that Shen gank, even without a ward.
Well, it kind of all depends for Vile Rose, right? Because he loves the consumable start. So when those are gone, he's going to be like, all right, NK Inc., let's pressure this off. I'm out of consumables. I need your help now.
Yeah, so once his blue Elixir does run off, too, he is going to be, which it just has now, he's going to be in a bit of a tough situation. Like we said, the NK Inc. showing middle has given Mega Zero that free reign up top, even without purchasing a ward. And now, since they poked down NK Inc. and forced him to recall, it's another few seconds of free time up there.
That bottom lane goes down. It's going to be a 7-minute turret this time in the game. That goes to Maple Street and Meniscus for pushing the bottom lane. So they pick the gold lead up to about 900 in the lead here for Velocity. And the top lane still going back and forth. 43 CS to 34. So as Chris re-enters the lane, he picks up a lead again.
Yeah, so he's got the lead, but we want to point out what happened middle here. As soon as Rumble hits level 6, uses his equalizer to clear the lane so that he can go back and buy without losing his bottom turret, whereas Echo had no choice. The bottom turret went down for Marn, and that Rumble pick really good in the 1 vs 2.
Oh, diving in, they get the hit down, explosive shot, and the Buster shot follow. It only assist him, so they can't get the burst on the front end they wanted.
Meniscus and Maple Street making their appearance. After you take that bottom turret, you got to expect the AD and support somewhere else on the map. Little surprise right there. Neontanzo does burn his flash, but he's still got his life.
And it is fun to see those teams try and use that quick advantage until it's found out. They almost got the attempt there. They pushed Neontanzo out, but that only gives him the chance to buy a bilge water on Maple Street now to the just newly purchased BF sword on Neontanzo.
That's funny because that was actually Heartbeat's preferred build even back before Blade of the Ruined King was changed. Right. He would rush that Blade of the Ruined King on Tristana. So a little bit of a shout out here to the opposing team, Marn, and we're going to get more burst potential out of a Triss than she already has.
And something as this fight goes down, I don't think Mega Zero is going to go down just yet. He gets that stun damage. He had the Shuriken procced in his hand, so he was pretty comfortable. But something that we also noticed that Marn kind of expressed with that build is that you get pretty good objective control as well with the Blade of the Ruined King. Yeah,
it still has really nice monster damage on it, even though that was toned down a little bit.
Right.
It helps so much with getting the early dragons as well as even late game barons.
We'll see what they pressure now in mid. Both the AD carries and support, as you said, as the turrets are falling on both sides, Kobe, are going to meet in mid. And here they have set up a party. See if Sona can really get up to dance. It's going to be 9 minutes in. Both have their ultimates if there was an engagement, with the summoner spells really going in favor of Marn on the fight. Nothing going on in mid as we see NK Inc. trying to make some pressure towards the bottom lane and just keep safe Vile Rose as he pushes here.
Vile Rose going to try and keep safe. He's got some good wards, you're right. That's exactly what you want to do when you get that early turret. We saw it before where teams would opt to keep their AD and support even in that lane and continue to shove that as 2 to try and get a secondary turret. They've actually pulled the switch and they continue to be aggressive. So they're trying to get the best of both worlds there.
So a quick buy of the Giant's belt to really shut down any ability power damage that comes from Mega Zero. And that's exactly what I said, right? He just has to buy some health, and you kind of feel like you're hitting a brick wall in the top lane. So if that lane goes down quickly, to see Mega Zero really helping out in the team fights.
Mega also itemizing against his lane with the early arm guard, going for the extra armor. Now flash down for Karthus. He's going to be in a bit of a sticky situation. That aggressive bottom lane we were talking about, where they continue to push, is actually going to run into some jungle support here.
And Kennon's normally used to split push, right? It looks like they're going to need him in these fights.
It would be nice to have that extra AoE, the slicing maelstrom, the mini stuns to come out, because as of right now, Echo on Karthus still in that ramping up phase where he's built these the mana items, the tier, and he hasn't even completed his excuse me, I'm running out of breath. He hasn't completed that.
Rod of Ages?
No, the Catalyst the Protected.
Oh, he did finish it though. That's why you had me confused. It's all right.
There we go. Now he's got it done.
So we got Sork Boots coming out on Rumble. So a very quick build there. We've actually seen Vile Rose go for a few different builds as he comes out on that. We actually may see again the Locket of the Iron Solari come out, as we've seen. Oh, the grab, the death sentence. That's what we've seen. They're not going to act on it too much though, as Niantanso's right there to fire back.
Death sentence not fulfilled there. Heartbeat beats the system.
It's a run on.
He gets out there, but the sneaky dragon gonna go off here. Shen and Rumble trying to get to work on here. They've got a pink ward. Rumble gonna run interference for Claky here as Vile Rose goes in on Claky D.
Setting up the D. NK Inc. stop dragon. What? Okay, so they're still gonna possibly be able to go back for it, but this really gives Martin a chance to push back.
They did so much damage to Claky D right there that he's gonna recall, and they have vision of him recalling.
He doesn't have smite.
Hey yo, let's finish off this dragon. The possibility of a steal. By the way, Chris's ultimate has been burned top in a trade with Mega Zero, so Mega has achieved the upper hand up there.
And Mega's playing the kite game perfectly on this, causing Chris to chug the potions, but that aggression in the top lane, Mega having to stay up there, gives Velocity Esports the dragon here, coming in at 12 minutes, and a 1,300 gold lead with one turret in their favor.
Interesting no boots here from Claky D as well. And he's just going to use that elastic slingshot to get his ganks off. Doesn't feel like he needs more walking around money. Rumble did burn his ultimate in that middle. Equalizer coming down, but unsuccessful dive here for Heartbeat and Niantanso.
So each game is slowing down, Kobe. You could almost say that these players are being, you know, physically and mentally taxed during these matchups.
You could say that, because this has been quite a strenuous few games here. And Claky D jumps over from the Wraiths to the side bush in that river, over the ward, into his own pink ward that's down there. But Evaniscus not going to let that one sneak by him. Pops another one down, and they see him out.
Just trying to be tricky. He's having fun right now. They are looking to open up some opportunities here. They're going to get the blue buff down. They're going to have Dragon down now. So objective free, at least for the amount of damage on the map, and no Baron. So there's really not going to be any huge turret dives just yet. So what is it going to be for the next fight? This is kind of that lull we've been seeing until the Dragon, really?
Yeah, well, I mean, the big gold difference is basically all due to that Dragon,
right?
That they were able to get by just zoning out Claky D and then taking that one in full knowledge of Team Marn. So the upper hand really for Team Marn to get back in this is going to come from Mega Zero. Okay. They're going to need him in that team fight. Make use of Slicing Maelstrom plus Echo on Karthus.
That just happened. They tried to throw down that gank in the top lane. It was a Stand United onto Chris. Chris popped his ultimate even before Stand United came in, and he just lightning rushed away. And again in the middle, from the backside, the elastic slingshot. The Zac attack is too much, and they take down Evaniscus.
Claky D finds the angle, hits the sweet spot, and they get the first blood. Marn right back in this one, but they're losing that top turret. The top gank was unsuccessful, but they still get the objective.
That is so big for how aggressive they were in mid, knowing Stand United was down. Great moves by Claky D and awareness of the team to re-engage on that.
Good call out right there. Every single cooldown extremely important in this game. Shen's being the longest and most important to keep track of.
So we'll go ahead and look at what the pockets show us. 2,000, just 200 short of 2,000 gold. Mega Zero sitting there, a lot of bank 1,300 or 1,100 gold for pretty much both Claky D and Echo, sitting a little above, and it's quite purchased items lately as there is not much gold on the side of Velocity Esports. So as MRN comes back, that next fight's going to be real big because right now they're pretty underscaled.
Yeah, Maple Street's sitting ready for him though. He has completed his Blade of the Ruined King, so that adds the on-hit damage, which is going to be nice, but also that active can be used as another tool for kiting, and it's very effective when you combine that with Tristana's kit, where she already has so much mobility and disengage.
So with the way the lanes are going, obviously only one kill in the favor of MRN. We see Chris. I was going to say who needs to make action, but it looks like Chris does. MRN putting down good wards, though. Looks like they're going to be able to keep anything from happening.
We do have Mega Zero heading down the river, too. It looks like we will come to a head in this mid lane as the 3 members of Velocity back off due to no minion wave available.
Elastic Slingshot back over into the Wraith camp. Clicky absolutely loving that. But like we said, he does love those champions that can make the sneaky trick moves and engagements and get themselves into position. 3 members of Velocity Esports now in mid as they try to get a little aggression there. The Slingshot from the back, but he releases. Does not allow that to go through. You still see this lane on an island. Vile, Rose, and Echo. Yeah, they're in the game too. They've been in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Echo just trying to CS and get those stacking items taken for Karthus. You're right, here we go, final form, Rod of Aegis. That one is taken along with his Tear of the Goddess, so from this point on, he only gets more powerful. Velocity have to keep returning to that lane, though. They're trying to shove him up and keep as much pressure on him as possible.
Oh, Vile Rose pushing that through because Claky D come from the side, so they're really trying to play with the mentality, or that mind game, rather. Mega Zero far off with not enough energy to continue the chase, but MRN in a fight spot. There's a crescendo across. Niantanso taking quite a bit. They do get themselves saved, and it looks like MRN actually tries to re-engage. Heartbeat falls there. The Buster Shot going down. And it looks like they will fall. Mega Zero picking up a kill for himself. That's going to be huge. The Zonia's coming in at 15 minutes for him. Really played a big part of that fight.
Yeah, he just finished that item there, and they're actually going to trade the support for that top laner. Good trade for Team MRN, but no Slicing Maelstrom and no Zonia's available for this tower defense.
They will be able to push pretty hard. Niantanso still putting out some pretty good damage there. NK forced to get some shields on with Maple Street and the team as they start to back off. MRN holds the turret after losing Heartbeat, but taking Chris.
You see that sneaky little ward put by Vile Rose over the wall to see where Claky will be charging up his Slingshot front, because they know that he's going to be off in Fog of War somewhere trying to come at them from different angles all game long, and it's going to be those wards you don't see very often, the ones that people don't usually place that are going to be most important now.
It becomes different, right? And it does between each champion you play as you talk about it. You have a Nocturne, you have to ward deeper. Zack's now in the game. It changes constantly. There's updates, there's new champions. You're going to have to start warding in different spots, and we're going to see those coming out soon.
Yeah, you can see the map is just covered in blue wards right now. They've got this entire
It's pretty much the thought of where could he jump from?
Dragon's also up, so you know what that means.
Yeah.
Brawl time!
Yeah, it's going to be a big brawl. This has been the signifier of every fight we've really seen turn the tide of this matchup. A best-of-5 series, and the Dragon has really been able to tell the story himself. We'll get a quick sit-down with him later and talk it out.
So going to be split-pushing during this operation here. Operation Pink Ward. They clear him out, and there goes the hook! Nice.
He got it on the equalizer. Got it. There's Niantanso pushing mid again. Actually, Maple Street, I should say. It is Tristana, but it's not Niantanso this time. It looks like they're going to keep going in. They push down the turret. The Dragon could be there for them. But again, inside the Dragon's Den is now the place you want to be. They get the smite out from Ink. They can't get it out. Claky D's is still up, so that was a miss-smite.
Now they also have them cornered from their own base, so they can continue onto this inhibitor turret. They're going to get a bunch of free damage before the rest of MRN are able to return. They got the middle turret as well as the Dragon with that steal out of disengage. Everything going for Velocity right now.
There's no money for the Home Guards to come out. This is a downed inhibitor turret before 20 minutes for a Dragon. Not even a Dragon.
Completely manipulated right there. So much faith in NK Inc's Smite ability that they push down the turret. At worst, that would have been a secondary turret traded for a dragon, which is something Velocity would take anyway. But since they were able to get that steal too, they don't lose anything off of it. So well played.
Now, can we talk about this for a second? Why does MRN continue to position themselves in the den? NK Inc. walked up and smited that with zero pressure.
They were so scared right now, and you can see it was that thing where the dragon didn't even know who to attack because he's got enemies on all sides. He's trying to fight off 2 teams at once, and MRN did not have the power to zone out the rest of Velocity's team. You're right, NK Inc. just walking right up there, and now Niantanso gets stunned, but it was after the Arcane Shift had already started casting, so that means it will finish casting.
Leandri's coming out onto Rumble. We saw Vile Rose able to take the blue buff with that. They didn't have it for the Dragon, but the pressure was still able to take it. So strong, even without the ultimate. MRN is considering these fights double time.
It's going to be very dangerous here. MRN have all of their team fighting ults up. You can tell they're just itching to have a brawl here because they want to see their combos in action. They're going to have Zac bouncing around in the back to try and get the back line towards the AoE of Mega Zero and Echo. He'll be trying to basically corral the rest of the team with those 4 bounces and his knockbacks. Oh, and Niantanso with a misfire.
No,
Just
he's
kidding.
Just going to clear.
He's going to clear the wall. I thought he was gonna go for this 4 versus 5 because they're looking for an engage, but not true. It was a dead-on shot.
He jumps in. Can he get Let's Bounce going? And he does not know. It's all the way on the backside. He's got to actually flash to get Let's Bounce to go. It's been way too deep here for Mega Zero and MRN, but it looks like they're still good. They have more crowd control. Slicing Maelstrom is down, but nobody can follow up the damage of Crescendo or the crowd control on it for that fact. MRN is in the backside. Clinky D going down. Maple Street picks up another kill. He looks to reply with a Niantanso game from last game here. 2-0-1 on Trist.
Echo is on the back lines here. Back line Karthus not quite as effective as the front line Karthus that you want to go down and make use of the passive here. No Requiem is going to come out because nobody's low enough to finish off.
3-2 here at 5,000 gold in the lead for Velocity eSports. It is 2-1 in the overall matchup. So right now, Velocity playing down for momentum. MRN trying to ride that wave. This game, a little bit more action than the last in kills, but it's kind of slowed down in the turret factor. Yeah, they have 5 on Velocity, but it was Velocity in the face of MRN all the time. They're way more relaxed this game.
Velocity definitely in the driver's seat this time around. Looks like they want all 5 games, just like the fans are rooting for here. And I guess, you know, I'll never doubt Niantanso again. That was not a misfire. He was aiming to clear that wave up and sort of, you know, make NK Inc. split push less effective. But then they ended up engaging anyway after that, and he didn't have his true shot barrage damage available for the team fight, and NK Inc. just used Stand United to join up. So, you know, long Shen cooldown not available anymore, but they definitely won the team fight because of it.
And Velocity going for a lot of health and cooldown right away on some of their champions. NK Inc. picked up that, I can't even remember now, Kindle Gem, thank you, Brain. Kindle Gem and the one as well on Evaniscus early, but he built the Bulwark completely after that, so not even into a locket, looking for the cooldown, looking for the health, looking to be tanky enough for the early engage.
Yeah, pointing out that the Bulwark going to be ever so important versus this MRN AP-heavy team. Good completion of that item means that their team fighting ability just went through the roof. Plus, we're at the point here where Tristana is on the verge of completing her Infinity Edge, and once Maple Street grabs that one,
there it is. He goes in. Evaniscus gets it. Heartbeat is on the backside. He doesn't have Crescendo just yet. It's about a few seconds away. Is he going to have it in time? They group up for it. Bam! The backside. Maple Street was the one hit, but nobody did damage to Maple Street during the entire Crescendo. Velocity eSports coming in big with a fight there. It's going to be the cleanse off, but it's just going to be the summoner spell wasted. Heartbeat finds himself alive near the turret, and they'll probably take him down for the oracles in just a second.
Echo again flashing out of the team fight there. Karthus Requiem available, but nobody's low enough to use it, and now he's getting a rest on once again. Free. Oh, they do clean up the inhibitor off of the back of that 3-2 team fight, and now they can leave the area.
A lot of big fights expected here from Velocity. MRN, not so much. We do see the red elixir coming in for Chris. He's ready to go even harder next time. The Rylai is looking to be built on Vile Rose. He's only got the Giant's Belt there. We see a little bit more armor coming out for NK Inc. on Shen. as they build themselves up to those core items. Like you said, the Infinity Edge almost finished, and it is now. That with the Blade of the Rune King and the Crit Cloak, he is going to be putting out a lot of damage, and it's already getting to that point where he's a late game Triss just because of his items. He
is a very strong Tristana, even though he doesn't have the range. That's really the hallmark of that, you know, level 18, 700 plus range. He's got the power to back it up anyway, and he's got such a beefy front line that he doesn't need that extra range at this moment. They're so strong right now with NKink and Chris just being able to manhandle Team Marn and control the area of the team fight.
So the objective control still going in the favor of Velocity here. They grab that one, and NK Inc. has the timer on it because he stole the last one. Very nice job by him, and that's 6,000 gold. I think this is the biggest spread besides, you know, the game-ending gold that you get from those last fights that we've had in the middle.
Yeah, it looks definitely like this is the first time where you can really say that Velocity have, you know, the really definitive upper hand in this game. They're controlling the movements of Marn, dictating where the other team is going. They've only got one turret down on their side of the map, and the rest of this map is completely open to them. Even the inside of Marn's base has been explored.
We'll see what they do as they continue to push out. They're trying to get some wards down, and you can still see Velocity. They're one of those teams, I said, they remember the little things all the time, and those wards are still there, placed for Zach's jumps.
Talking about that Blade of the Rune King melting monsters. Look at Maple Street firing from the back lines here. True Shot Barrage comes in for the steal attempt, and they leave Baron at half-life.
So it's not going to be attempted by Echo and crew. He knows that because they got the split push in the bottom lane. They really have to be careful here on any engage that they have. Chris, knowing he has time to go back, see what kind of items he gets. He's actually popped that red elixir for whatever engagement possible and maybe going for that Baron here. So he does not have that for the next fight, at least for the health addition.
Wise call by Velocity there, going with the safe option. All they have to do is buy time at this point. They were split pushing with NK. He was able to get another turret down. All outer turrets have been destroyed on Team Marn's side. So with an inhibitor down, it will make that NK Inc.'s job just so much easier.
So with this, they didn't take teleport on obviously any other champions. Kennen can move fast across the map, but how are they going to start countering NK Inc. engagements when they use Shen on the offensive?
Really what they'll be looking for is just to start off the team fight quickly and have the engage and force Shen to come to them, because NK Inc. at this point has gotten so strong that he will be able to at least get away from whoever Marn send at him, and they won't be able to make him pay for split pushing in any way. You said no global teleport or anything here for Marn, so they're really just they're backed themselves into a corner, and they have to try and just defend their base and give up these outer objectives.
Here we go. Oh boy, Heartbeat could be going flatline right here, but he chooses to use the crescendo, and it looks like he is forced to back away.
Little bit too far out into their own territory. Their own jungle has become enemy territory right now. This is Velocity's jungle. As soon as they go for this Baron, though, Marn don't hesitate. So they're making their move. This is exactly what they need to do. They can't hesitate at all. Every second they need to make work for them, because NK Inc. is just destroying their bottom turret.
You know, Kobe, something we also don't take into consideration as this fight may happen is, at this point last game, there were a lot more core items finished. It was a different phase of fighting. So there's even adaptability in, yeah, 28 minutes, you don't have as many items as last game. You can't engage like you did. So it's a lot different in that aspect, is adapting for these teams as well throughout this series.
I'm really impressed with Velocity's self-control here. They're playing a very methodical game, and now they're going with the Baron after they've baited Marn out of the base. Marn wasted too much time. They didn't get the engage, and so that's going to be the Baron falling.
35-40 on that Baron, so the next 4 minutes happily sitting around the waists of Velocity eSports. Claky D and the rest of the team trying to get the waves at least to the mid so they can really pressure anything that's brought to the table by Velocity eSports here.
They also burned the Stand United just to make sure they secured that Baron. They wanted their smite to be there just for the extra true damage finish off. Didn't want to throw anything to a random true shot barrage from Niantanso. They don't want to watch the Niantanso show anymore. They've had enough of that one. And it's worth pointing out that he's on Ezreal, which isn't that late game carry that you can say, oh, you know, we still have that hope of the late game Niantanso in our back pocket that can save us all.
Absolutely. The gold lead continuing to increase in favor of Velocity. What's going to make that late game you're talking about, Kobe, a little bit harder due to those core items. It looks like we almost have that Phantom Dancer. Yes, this time finish the crit cloak on the side of the Zeal. Won't be the static shiv this time. And Maple Street's going to be even stronger. He's 4 levels away from that max bead shot on his passive. So we're going to see if he can get to that quickly. The highest on the team and in the game is going to be 16 on Echo. So we're looking for him to make some moves as well if he can be a zombie Carthus in this one. Zack Attack coming in as he lasts a slingshot, but they're pushed out. Mega Zero throws down the slicing Maelstrom, does not have the Zonias just yet, but the crescendo goes back across. There is Maple Street taking out one. He's going to be the first one down. Finally, Echo to throw out the Requiem after going down. Zach, or Claky D and Echo fall. And Velocity Esports inside the base. They'll take the inhibitor and pretty much whatever they want.
Very surprised that MRN actually engaged that one. There was no turret there, and they expended their resources chasing. This is actually the first time that Echo actually did go down, but they did lose the team fight. Baroned up Velocity, takes a second inhibitor, and they are going to rotate over.
Iceborne Gauntlet for a harpoon to the face. They do not catch each other as it's pretty much equaled out there. But we can still see Vile Rose feeling like he can push, communicating with the team, saying, I'm going here, be all right, don't worry about it. They are pushing out. 30 minutes, Kobe is looking grim for MRN and looking great for Velocity to bring it to game 4. 5. It is 4.
You're losing track here, huh? Me too, man. This is game 562. No, we've got Velocity in a great position. You're right. We're going to even this one back up if they can finish it off. They're in the same position that MRN were, you know, just I guess it seems like a lifetime ago, actually.
I'd say 10 weeks.
It seems like a lifetime ago. You know, they've only got 1 turret down. They've got the Baron buff. They've got 2 inhibitors destroyed for themselves. So we'll be spawning 2 lanes of super minions. We've got a Shen that can split push. There's just so many options for Velocity right now to finish it off that MRN are just have to be quaking in their boots right now.
And I feel like in an all-out brawl fight, if you look at the summoners over on MRN's side, there's quite a few more in the Flash realm that are up, and that's really what MRN is using to disengage, or what Claky D has actually had to Elastic Slingshot, Let's Bounce, and then Flash to get in. So they're making this tough, and without those summoners, this fight's going to be really hard for them.
Yeah, it may be Claky D's first rodeo. He has not been able to corral the Team Velocity into those AoE ultimates of MRN, and it never came together. It's a little bit late now. Echo had not gone down until just earlier in the the last team fight, so there was no standing on top of the dead Karthus. The Defile was not working. It did not come together this time around for MRN, and Velocity look extremely strong right now, already on the Nexus turrets.
Yeah, it's going to be NK Inc. on the backside. The Equalizer goes down for the fight. The flash crescendo from Heartbeat. They look to shut down Velocity Esports on what could be a final push. Claky D's got to go back with Let's Bounce onto Chris. They're focusing a lot onto the tank. Vile Rose has found his way in. Mega Zero to the back line. Buster shot it out. It looks like they're going to continue. Vile Rose screaming his lungs out for the backside. Go, go, go. But the Requiem is here. Did they remember about it? And yes, they did. They have the HP to go through. It's going to be Niantanso going down. One last harpoon takes him out. And they go to move on to the inhibitor turret. Chris, one shot makes his way in, but they finally get him with the power cord. Velocity is kind of roaming here, but it's going to be chaotic.
He does get to touch the Nexus before he dies, though. It's going to be up to Claky and Heartbeat to defend this one.
They have the minions there. They are going to push down. It is another 15 seconds until they get a wave. These minions are hitting the turret. Their Nexus, they're actually going to be able to take this. Velocity brings it out to a game 5. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going the full way.
Color me not surprised. We're going to go the full distance here today, guys. Velocity taking it to the final. Game 5. This one will be decisive. Whoever wins the next game will be in the LCS Summer Split.
Absolutely sapped of emotion.
Look at that. This is how I feel right now. Niantanso's picture.